All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Range Talk podcast. My name is not Cisco.
My name is not Isaiah.
And today is going to be the part 2, part dos for my Spanish speakers out there. This is going to be a continuation
What's
of the
part
first part.
in Spanish?
Part? Parte?
Parte dos.
Parte dos.
Or is it dos parte?
Parte dos.
Okay.
I know, sometimes it's backwards. Either way, there's going to be the second part, the Electric Boogaloo, the sequel to the first part. We talked about tactical gear, what is the best tactical gear, what you should be running, and that sort of thing.
Yep.
We had mentioned, or talking over a lot actually, of our plate carriers, chest rigs, that sort of thing. But there was actually another form of load-bearing equipment that I think we had briefly talked about it, like just a hair.
Yes.
I want to go more in depth about it, and that is going to be battle belts.
Yeah. So before we get into the topic, just to recap what Isaiah said, in the previous podcast, we did talk about different plate carriers, chest rigs, what you should be looking for in terms of your play style and things like that, even tactical vests as well. But I would say battle belts are more of an addition to your loadout. So like a plate carrier chest rig is going to be, I guess, like the general gear, if you will, like the first things that you should get. Consider like a battle belt or something like waist bearing is going to be more subsidiary. It's not as important, but depending on your personal play style.
I was about to say, Ash, I was actually going to bring up that I would actually disagree with that, and I think for some people, many players out there, that a battle belt would be their first line, I guess. That would be their first line, or that would be equally, if not more important for them as a chest rig or plate carrier, because another topic that we went over was environment. That was another contributing factor as to what can help influence your play style.
So make sure you watch the first episode of the podcast, first part of this topic in the podcast, because we did go in depth about your different play styles and what you should be looking after. So go ahead, continue. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're chill. But yes, environment was a very big contributing factor as to what sort of tactical gear you might want to be looking into.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the, there are so many different facets of Airsoft, right? And there's not just outdoor, but there's also indoor as well. And like the CQB or the more high-speed competitive scene, there are plenty of guys who will not rock anything in terms of like a chest rig or a plate carrier, but instead will solely go with a battle belt. And that's a good tactic, I have to admit.
No, absolutely. So what you said about the first line, for those of you guys that don't know what a quote-unquote first line is, it's going to be where you are putting your immediate necessities for quote-unquote play or combat.
Your primary accessories or your primary pieces of extra equipment you need to be carrying around with you.
Yeah. So I treat my first line as my battle belt. So this is where I'm reloading from. This is where I carry my sidearm. This is also where I have my dump pouch. And depending on the belt setup that I have, it could be or could have different other pouches and things that I may need on the field. Depending on how you play and which is your dominant shooting hand would dictate how you personally run your gear. But just the way that I personally manipulate the gun, I like reloading from my battle belt first, because it's just the swift motion of like rocking your arm up and down from the side upward into the front of you. And
rock'em sock'em robots there.
Yeah, pretty much. No, but some people prioritize things differently. Because for the longest period of time, I didn't even use a battle belt. What I did was I wore whatever pants that I chose for the day, and I wore like a really heavy-duty rigger's belt. And then on the rigger's belt, I had my holster just on my hip, and then I had a thigh rig, like a drop leg panel that held magazine pouches on my left side.
That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Oh, really?
Here's the thing, I've tried going like the battle belt, and bear in mind, all this stuff that we're mentioning, plate carriers, chest rigs, battle belts, this is all just for your guys' discrepancy. Pick whatever you want or whatever you think looks cool at the end of the day, right?
Absolutely.
Obviously, there are many contributing factors to what you should get, but I will say, I'm a little different than Cisco.
I would say before looking cool, get functionality.
Yeah. I mean, again, your priorities, it's your own money. You can do whatever you want. But yes, if you want, our best piece of advice would be go for functionality more than the aesthetic, but the aesthetic can still look cool. But for me, I've tried rocking like different battle belts, and I just feel like it's just not comfy enough, right? I feel like it's just I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it sits right
Okay.
with me. Like, granted, I fit really weird in clothes. I'm kind of like in between sizes.
Okay.
So that could be a contributing factor to it. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of wearing suspenders. I can see the point of wearing suspenders for sure. Like, most definitely.
So I've said it before. I have no hips. My hips can't lie because they're non-existent. Even though I'm this big, it's stupid. But so I actually ran into that situation as well. So I think I have to go through the evolution of my tactical gear to get a better understanding of why I made the changes and are using the gear that I'm currently using. So as I said before, I used to run with a Condor cross-draw vest. Ran that for a long period of time. On the Condor cross-draw vest, there's actually a duty belt that's at the very bottom. And when you get it, it does come with a couple of like magazine or utility pouches that lay perpendicular or that parallel to the belt. So you have to like pull it out from the side. And I use that belt to mount other things. I use it to hold my dump pouch. I use it to hold those magazine pouches. And then the vest itself had the holster, so I just used the holster there. I had the magazines on the right side of my person, and then the pouches up top, I just kept like extra mags or whatever is necessary. So from using that chest rig, I learned exactly how I didn't want to manipulate my gear in terms of efficiency, because again, I've said it before, my reloading hand is my quote-unquote support hand. I know some people don't like calling the non-dominant shooting hand the support hand, but it's my support hand. It literally supports me in reloading and holding the gun. So I found that I didn't like taking my hand off of fire control to reload and then do this awkward reload thing and have to swap all this. I didn't like that. And I also didn't like having the holster on the left side on my vest. It just became very cumbersome, especially when manipulating my gun. And even if I were to transition to it, the pouch being there, the holster being there, was very awkward, especially when I had my gun on a sling. It would rattle around and get caught up there, and it was really awkward. So when I switched over to a plate carrier, I couldn't afford a battle belt at the time.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
For me, when I had the cross-draw vest, I know the duty belt you're talking about. I actually hated the duty belt. I just completely got rid of mine entirely.
Okay.
Yeah, just because I felt like, well, I know a big problem I have a very long torso.
Okay.
So like cross-draw vest, normal for my size, were like fitting like just right above my belly button, right?
Okay.
And that's with the belt. Right, so I'd have I have a really long torso.
That's hilarious.
Nothing fits me right, man.
Hilarious.
Nothing fits me right.
He's all torso, no legs.
Yes, yes. This is exactly. My dad calls me the reverse T-Rex, man, for a reason. Right, like.
Oh no! Oh no!
I'm built like an orangutan, where I got long ass arms, I got little legs, right, and a big old chest. Right?
When did this become a self-bro session? Okay.
But that's the thing, right? So clothes were actually a little bit harder to find, and I'm sure that there's probably one or two guys out there.
No, yeah, there's got to be
right?
people that have the same body shape as you.
So what I normally ran would be, I forgot the name of the belt. It was supposed to be just one of the, it had one singular like plastic buckle that you'd loop through. Was it the trainer belt? You know the one I'm talking about, where it's just one nylon like strap.
Oh yes, and it weaves through.
Yeah, it just weaves through, and it's like
I forget the name of it.
Yeah.
But Condor has them, NC Star has them.
I still use that belt to this day because honestly, for guys that are like me that are in between sizes, that is perfect because you can get it exactly the right amount of tightness that you need it to be.
Yep.
Right. I'll use that, or I'll use a rigger's belt as well.
Yep.
I use a rigger belt, and I'll usually have just maybe some type of paddle holster or a drop leg panel for a holster.
Okay.
And that's usually better because I don't want stuff to get in the way. Normally I use a rigger's belt maybe with some type of drop leg. The main reason why I like drop leg is because again, it's a little bit lower on my body, which is what I want. The problem when I've had battle belts like this, outside of just comfort and stuff, was actually the fact that the magazines, when they stick out, a lot of my plate carriers, because I do carry a lot of gear on them, they would actually get in the way. So it would just bunch up. So I didn't want to have to deal with that. So it just, the lower I have it on my body, again on my thighs or my legs, that's usually what I prefer when it comes to holsters and stuff. But again, that's just me.
No, yeah, that's your personal preference. I did run drop leg holsters for a minute too. And honestly, when I was running, I didn't like the way the weight of the the pistol and the holster on my thigh would shift as running.
Yep.
It made it very cumbersome for me personally. So that's why I go for more of a hip area location for my pistols. But it's funny that you say that your gear gets in the way. For me personally, the way I set up my plate carriers, I'd leave my sides usually empty. Now, even though I do have that cummerbund that I can use to insert different things like extra magazines, whatever, I like having that flat because I don't want anything in the way of me reloading or me transitioning to my sidearm because I want quick access to that. So it's funny how earlier I said, you know, your primary gear is going to be like your chest rig or your plate carrier. But I would say if I just wanted to hit the field, go out and play, if I needed to pick one piece of gear outside of safety protection, it's going to be my battle belt, just because of how I have them all set up. Typically, I'll run multiple rifle magazines, multiple pistol magazines, and my pistol itself. On top of that, I'll also run my dump pouch as well. So for me personally, the way I have this belt set up, this is the battle belt that I have used for BB Wars. If you guys want to go check out this complete assembly, you can watch that in my tactical gear heads for BB Wars. But it is a Condor LCS Cobra battle belt, so laser cut, complete molly. It's very rigid. I actually really love this battle belt. I got it back in like 2019 when they first came out, and I've been using it since. I love it so much that I got one in tan because you know, for my tan multi-cam loadouts.
You gotta have both.
Absolutely. So attached to the belt, I'll go from the like 11 o'clock position, so the front of your body being 12 o'clock. Toward the 11 to the 9 position, I do have 3 double-decker HSGI tacos. So the reason I went for those is so I can hold both 3 rifle and 3 pistol magazine pouches, or magazines in those pouches. And at the time, I really liked the idea of having kangaroo or the double-deckers. So the manipulation of reload, the motion of it, it's going to be in the same exact spot, whether I'm reloading from my pistol or from my rifle. I'm going to reach for that same area. Moving behind that toward the, what is that? That's the 7 to 6 o'clock position. Yeah, I have my dump pouch. Reason being, it's going to be right behind where I'm reloading. I can easily just dump the magazine and then go for a new one, and then go fight. Okay, it's
interesting that you have a dump pouch, though. I've always thought you were a person that like re-index your magazines.
So I said it in the last one. It's more of it depends on the situation. If I run the magazine dry, I don't want to re-index it, because I used to do that. And if I'm like getting caught up in the game and I'm getting a little like heated, not heated, but you know, motivated, I'm not really focused on my magazines. I've gone through the point where I've run through all my magazines and I'll reach for like one of the empty ones that I reinserted.
Oh, I see.
That I re-indexed, and I'm like, oh, the goddamn all out of ammo.
It's hard to remember like which ones are actually loaded or not.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So for the dump pouch though, it is a love-hate relationship. I love having it because it doesn't only hold magazines, it can carry different objectives and stuff, like especially if like say you need to carry like a package like from point A to point B or whatever. I can just throw it in there and still have my arms to be active into helping me survive, right? But I hate it when it's full. It just slaps the foot.
Yeah,
I hate that.
You're just getting spanked as you're walking across.
I hate that you phrased it that way. God damn it, that's never gonna be okay. All right, but yeah, when it's full, it's very irritating. It just slaps the hell out of my ass. So it's a love-hate, but I love it more than I hate it. I'll use it all the time. For this particular belt, I don't have anything between the 6 o'clock to the 4 o'clock position. Right at the 3 o'clock position, I do have my holster that carries my Elite Force Glock. I have mine on a Safariland QLS paddle. So what I'll do is, depending on the pistol that I'm running, I'll just quickly remove the holster and then throw on the holster that I need to run it. And I like having it right there, right at the 9 o'clock position. That way, if I need to reload, I'm just shoving my arm downwards, down my hip, down my body. So eventually I'm going to reach it. I don't want to have to put it in a weird awkward position where I'm kind of just like where the hell is my sidearm? I just want to like grab it and go. And of course, like, you know, like if you practice your reloads, you build a muscle memory to where it's actually positioned on your body. So whatever works for you. That's just what works for me. Do I have anything in front of that? I don't have anything in front of that. So on this belt, it's actually very simple. My sidearm, extra magazines, and a dump pouch. Now I do have a harness or suspenders, if you will, for the battle belt. Now, I do this because the Condor LCS battle belt specifically has a Velcro inner lining. Now, when you get the belt itself, it does come with a rubber padding liner on the inside that is supposed to hug toward your body. And I use that for a period of time. And it worked great, especially if I had it cranked down in tightness. But again, I've got no hips. So the belt will always slide down. And with that, it will slide down. It will push my pants down as well. And I hate that. I don't know about you, but having my ass crack showing or feeling the breeze when I'm in the middle of the game is not the best thing. It's very distracting, right?
Like, if I intentionally wanted to wear short shorts or blue shorts, I would have just gone that route instead, you know?
Yeah,
Like...
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so what I actually do is I have the Condor inner Velcro belt that mounts into the pants. So you weave that into your pants, and then you can wrap the outer LCS belt around that. So in conjunction with the suspenders, it not only holds up the battle belt, but it also holds up my pants, which has come in handy so damn much.
I can imagine.
It's so damn nice. I love it. I don't think I could ever play without this type of setup if I was ever going to run a battle belt ever again. Because, again, no hips and having used multiple battle belts, not just the Condor LCS, but I've had plenty of different ones, and running like the thigh rigs just on a regular like rigger's belt. It's so irritating to have to like adjust your pants around your gear and doing all this mumbo jumbo. This keeps my pants and my belt up, and I don't have to worry about the belt slipping as well. Now, the whole point of having a battle belt is supposed to help get weight off of your shoulders. You're supposed to be removing gear from your like chest rig and putting it onto your hips. Counterproductive, but honestly, I would rather have them on my shoulders than on my hips because of the problems that I encounter. You, the viewer, whoever's watching, may not run into that situation. Isaiah said, you know, with his, I don't want to say awkward.
Yeah, no, it's awkward.
When I say it, it's insulting.
No, it's fine.
When you say it, you're just describing yourself.
With my deformed body shape, right? Like, it's definitely a lot more difficult to get it to work. But, you know, suspenders would definitely be something that I should look into. I don't really want to.
Yeah.
But, you know.
I get it.
Because, again, I like the idea of just having stuff on my thighs. But, again, if you're going to be running this many mag pouches,
yeah, for sure,
on like especially on like your first line, then yeah, I would definitely say you might want to consider getting a battle belt.
No, so when I ran AEG like magazines and stuff, it wasn't that bad. Even if I had like the magazines and my pistol.
My God, you own an MWS.
No, that's the thing. When I was running like my KWA LM4 or my G&G gas blowback gun as my primary, that is what would bring the weight. And that's what would drag the belt down and my pants down. And I found that so irritating, especially because like that was my primary. That's what I chose to use. And this was the solution around it. And it took me like that long to think suspenders. Why didn't I ever think of suspenders beforehand? And it's funny because I think I thought of suspenders not that long ago, maybe like 3-4 years ago, something like that. Because again, I ran the Condor LCS battle belt since 2019, so I think I thought of it like 2020, maybe 2021. Yeah, it's terrible. But the way that I would counteract that before, I would just crank down the belt so it's tight, which does get the job done. But over an extended period of time,
that ain't comfy, man.
It's not comfy at all. Like, it's not comfy.
What are you trying to do to yourself? You're playing for like hours and hours on end. That cannot be comfortable even in the slightest.
Exactly, and this helps carry the weight, makes it much more comfortable, and I am not worried about the inconvenience of my my tucked in shirt coming undone, or my pants slipping, or having to adjust my belt. It might seem very minute, which it really is, but I think overall for me, it definitely enhances my experience. But going into like talking about battle belts and stuff, it's all personal preference. Like Isaiah said, you could only run a battle belt. That could be your primary gear and not have any chest rigs. And I have definitely played with just my battle belt before. I'll ditch my plate carrier, my chest rig, because maybe it's hot or whatever, and I'll have enough ammo and the gear I need just to rock the field. And then there are people who don't run battle belts at all. They just run the chest rig or plate carrier. It's all personal preference. Like we have said in the first episode of what do we call it? The
best, which airsoft gear you should get or something.
Yeah,
like
best airsoft gear.
Best airsoft gear, yeah.
I'm going to title this one, Your Airsoft Gear Sucks.
Oh, wow. Right. But yeah, no, like going on what Cisco said, like at the end of the day, there's no right or wrong way to like rock a belt, or even if you want to wear a belt in the first place. And just like anything else, it's all going to be a matter of individual preference. But again, if you were trying to look for something that was fairly lightweight, you wanted stuff that was going to take the weight off of your like chest area and actually have it on like your waist.
Kind of productive with the
yeah, I know, with suspenders. But either way, you know, like it definitely is a very good option that we of course would recommend. And there's going to be plenty of options available at Airsoft GI.
Oh yes.
But moving away from battle belts, though, there is another piece of tactical equipment that I want to go over, and that's going to be helmets. That's something that we didn't talk about at all last time.
No, yes, and I know you did want to talk about it. So helmets are very, very interesting in Airsoft.
A lot of times they can either be, you know, definitely good for, you know, like any sort of like milsim loadout that you're trying to put together for sure. They can definitely have some utilitarian use to them. But a lot of times what I do find, at least for most players, helmets, for the most part, especially if you're just a regular casual player, just going to your regular walk-on games, they're just for the looks, man.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
They're just for the looks, bro. Like it is 100% like just something that you wear just because you want to look cool.
No, absolutely. So I actually own a couple helmets.
Same.
And I have, honestly, I kind of set them up relatively the same. It depends on what I'm doing. So back in the day when I was a try-hard, I would use my GoPro and record like all my footage, even if I was shit that day. And then like one of them I have spray painted, the other one I have all black for like my multicam black loadout. Mm-hmm. But I found that it's much more than just protection, because like when looking into a helmet first, I was like, I remember I got shot in like the top of the head once. Yeah, even though I was wearing a hat, it still sucked. I was like, I don't ever want to experience that ever again. So I went to get into a helmet, and you know, a lot of airsoft helmets, even though they're not they're not bump helmets. They're not actually like rated to like for impacts, like hard impacts, like you fall and like hit your head or something. It'll still do a damn good enough job to protect your head from a BB impact.
Oh yes. But I would even say that it's best to have a helmet. Even if you are going to be playing regular airsoft, just because, again, I've seen a lot of guys slip and fall, right? And they weren't wearing a helmet at all. So I don't know about you, but if my head's going to hit the concrete, I would much rather have a helmet, even if it's bare, right? Something like this.
Yeah.
As opposed to nothing at all. In fact, I'm pretty sure there's a couple of like airsoft injury videos you can look up on YouTube, and a lot of them are because, again, they weren't wearing a helmet or anything to go out and protect their head, and they just, you know, got a mild concussion.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, even though like I'm not trying to bash on airsoft helmets, because some of them do have like better protection. Like honestly, wearing an airsoft helmet and having that help absorb the impact of a fall is better than not having a helmet at all.
Yeah.
Right. But the helmet category in tactical gear is very, very what's the correct word? It's kind of divided in a way. There are the people that are like, I just want the helmet to like look cool.
Of course.
And then there are the people that are like, I need this helmet to be as 1-to-1 or like as functional as possible, right?
No, yeah, I get it. And you can go with either or. Again, just like anything else, like just like a plate carrier too, right? Because at the end of the day too, do you really need protection from a 6mm BB? Are you really going to die? Do you really need those?
No, yeah. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it is kind of like, I think it does fall into the same sort of category. It can be useful, but it ultimately depends on your environment, your play style as well. Again, you go to pretty much most indoor fields, you're going to see that most guys are not rocking, a helmet setup like this at all.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure there's probably the one guy that is. My guy. You and I are the same.
You the Chad.
You the Chad. But, when you go to an outdoor field, you might see a little bit more of these, especially if you go to like a missile event, you will find more guys rocking helmets because, again, you want to rock maybe, say, like a night vision setup of some kind. Having comms is very useful as well.
This is a real Gen 1, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
That's hilarious. So this is our boy's Justin's helmet. This is your helmet.
My personal one, yeah.
So go over your breakdown of your helmet.
So this is the Lancer Tactical, I think it was the CP Airframe helmet. Yeah, this is the Airframe helmet that we carry on our website. I think it's like $60 right now. It's actually not bad. It's actually very comfy.
Really?
It is incredibly comfortable. I love the padding inside. Again, this is going to have the normal arc rails on there as well.
So you can, it's like the nice thick padding.
It is going to have the arc rails, so you can put other helmet accessories on there. I have the 3M helmet adapters for the comms, and I actually am rocking Peltor range guards just because that's like the go-to head setup that most of my team runs.
Oh yeah.
On the back, I am running just this. It works, but not right now.
Just the battery's dead.
Yeah, the battery's dead, and it's gonna be a pain to go ahead and change that out. But I do have the IFF light on the back here as well. This is just a dummy night vision setup that I have, and again, I believe this is supposed to be the Lance. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the Lancer mount on here as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Lancer Rhino mount. So honestly, so I don't run NVGs. I have never had the opportunity to, which I would love to because I've heard it's really cool in Airsoft.
It can be it's fun, and ordinarily this isn't my go-to helmet setup either. A lot of times I'll take this, if I'm going to bring this helmet specifically to MSW, I'll rip off the dummy night vision and of course the mount, and because I do rent night vision goggles a lot of times.
Okay.
So one of the biggest pieces of kit that I'll usually have on here is actually going to be a counterweight. Actually, you know what? I think.
Yes. Grab it?
Yeah, I'm gonna go grab it real quick. Yeah. That's the one thing I forgot to
So
grab.
while you're looking for that, so for me, like I said, I used to run a GoPro on my helmet. So what I would do is have a NVG GoPro adapter, have my GoPro right up front here, and then on the back I would have what Isaias has here, which is a counterweight for.
That's the piece of kit I was gonna go say. Yeah, that's like the number one thing I think if you are considering running a helmet so you can use night vision or have a GoPro. Having the counterweight is going to be like almost imperative because otherwise you have all that weight in the front just going to bring your helmet down constantly. You're going to have to constantly try to lift to bring it up. It's just annoying to do it. So having these little counterweights really does help. This one screws directly into the screws on the helmet itself. It should do the same thing on most of them as well. But there is also hook and loop backing, so you can just stick it on if nothing else.
So that's what I did to mine. I think I actually looped it in as well because where the arc rails connect, you can screw it in there. So what I actually used my counterweight for is actually holding an external battery for my GoPro. So I would run an extension cord to connect the external battery to the GoPro, and I would cover it with patches, or I would run it through the helmet, and that would keep the GoPro running for much longer. And I've seen plenty of other guys do that as well. It's just very convenient. And then I did a very similar setup as well. I bought some TAC-9 helmet adapters that are very similar to these M3 ones, and I actually put my Peltor range guards on there as well. But if you see Justin's helmet here, I don't know if those are legit M3 helmet adapters.
I'm not 100% certain. I think they are.
But his is an airframe as well. He has. This is hilarious. It's a Gen 1 sight mark. I have the same one in the trash. But he has what are these? Walker's Fireman Ear Pro. And with these, it does look like there is volume adjustability. There's a power on and off.
I think these were Bluetooth compatible. That was one of the reasons why I went with
them. Really?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong.
Oh, that's actually really cool. I wondered though, because I don't see any connections for external radios. One thing that I really like about the range guard Peltors is they use I think a 2.5 millimeter plug, which is the standard headphone plug. If I got that size incorrect, I'm sorry, correct me in the comments.
Aux cable.
Yeah, the aux cable. And I have that mounted. I just literally plug in an aux cable into the headset, and I'll plug that into my speaker mic.
Yep, same. That's the exact same setup that I do.
Yeah, and then I have the speaker mic connected to the radio, so then I can activate here, and then hear communication in ears, which is super dope. Before I was running ear protection, electronic ear protection, I was just using the speaker mic. And when you are behind enemy lines, trying to be sneaky as hell, it does not help us. Where are you at?
Yeah, no, just having like someone hot micing,
Oh,
right? And they like, wait, what was that noise?
Well, I hate that right now. I hate that normally because when you hot mic, especially with the headphones in, it's like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, it's terrible. But at the very least, it's in your headset as opposed to like out loud. So it's like, hey, where are you guys at?
Yeah.
Oh, what was that noise, right?
Well, back when I first got my Peltors, I wasn't really using them with radios. I was just using it for ear protection. I wanted to be able to hear what I was doing, but still be able to protect my ears from thunder bees.
Mm-hmm.
Thunder bees aren't used as often from what I've seen in the past few years. But when I first got them, they were still being like thrown like 10 times a game.
They're coming back, I would say, just because a lot of fields, especially here in California, right, that we do have to worry about the dry brush.
Yep.
We don't know.
What's a thunder bee? It's a CO2 one.
Yeah, it's not, those are being a little bit more used, a little bit more popular, as opposed to some of the other alternatives that were out there.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, even in Milsom West, too, if we ever play at Georgia Air Force Base, that place is a death trap, right? So, like, one pyrotechnic is all it takes, and that's happened before, where they burned down
It's happened
buildings.
multiple times.
Happened multiple times, actually. So, that costs the organizer a lot of money.
Oh,
so,
absolutely.
A lot of events like that will be using thunder bees, but they can be really loud, especially if you're close to them, to your ear.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of Milsom events will say, like, bring headphones or bring sort of plugs, some sort of ear protection, so that way you don't like mess up and get tinnitus, right?
Yeah.
So having this like really helps out. But again, there's multiple different options. We even sell multiple different options. While Opsman makes several different headsets that are compatible with this as well.
Yeah.
But when it comes to helmets, again, I wanted something that was practical, but I can't lie. I wanted something that was going to look cool. I wanted something that would work for like
Absolutely.
the NATO infantrymen, right?
See, I do find it interesting that you did the helmet cover as well. That looks like a multicam cover.
Yeah, a multicam cover.
Why did you pick a cover instead of just running it like plain?
I think there was something about like the multicam like cover that just kind of looked cool. First of all, the helmet itself is not bad, but a lot of helmets brand new, they do kind of have this like weird sheen to them, right? The little shine.
Yes, Airsoft helmets, sheen. Charlie Sheen. Okay,
I was thinking about Sheen Estevez from Jimmy Neutron. This is Ultra Lord.
How do you know he's in there?
Yeah.
No!
Oh, dude, I have that whole scene like memorized in the back of my head. But anyway, yeah, they have this like really glossy like tint to them, and I just wasn't a big fan of that. And I could, just hit it with some sandpaper if I wanted to, or maybe a different colored paint. But I'm like, I could just get a helmet cover and it looks dope, right? And worst case scenario, if I really did want to go with a tan helmet, I could just take the cover off.
That's valid,
right? There was actually a few photos that I saw. I don't think it was with the airframe, although I'm pretty sure there is one photo that exists somewhere on my phone where there was a couple of like MARSOC guys that actually had like multicam covers on their tan helmets.
Oh, interesting.
And that MARSOC loadout was trying to be like the inspiration of like my loadout that I was going for.
Yeah.
I would just swap out like the tops and bottoms for multicams for like woodlands whenever I wanted to do it. But yeah, no, I just thought it looked really, really cool. And again, it did get rid of a lot of that shininess to it.
I get that. For me, my first helmet was the Lancer Tactical IBH helmet. So it was like in between like a Mitch and some other type of helmet. I could be completely wrong.
I have that helmet too.
Yeah, it's so awkward, especially because like the helmet strap, the chin strap comes down to the temple. It's so awkwardly positioned. But I got an OD green, and at the time I was running OD green primarily because that was what me and my friends were all running. And then I just thought, wow, tan is cool. Let me just do tan. And then I like spray painted the hell out of it. I have no idea where it is now.
It's somewhere in his garage.
It's definitely somewhere in my garage, but it's so funny because that's just one. And then I have my my other Lancer Tactical helmet, which is a JP helmet. So what? Not like this, but just the traditional, like the typical tactical helmet with the arc rails and the strap, the adjustable strap on the back. And honestly, because my fat head, I had to adjust it. I have a size 8 head, so this is for reference for you guys. If you're looking into a helmet, no, your head is too big for a helmet. You're either going to need to completely gut the existing padding, or you're going to cut it down, which is what I did. I actually took a knife and cut the hard foam down to open up more space so it would fit my head. But just so you know, if you do that, the helmet looks kind of small in comparison to the rest of your face. I look like Bulby. Just my face.
Oh no!
My cheeks look like the stomach, and the helmet look like the head. It's
Flop,
bad.
flop, 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 flop.
It's super bad. But I mean, the helmets I think are just another accoutrement, if you will, to your tactical gear. I think it could definitely make or break a loadout. I would say, for me, my helmets when I wear them break the loadout, but I do get a lot of usefulness out of it.
Yeah.
Just because my head is shaped weird. I think I look awkward in a helmet. There's actually a picture of me floating online somewhere where I was playing at a field, and I was like, fire was coming in from a window, and I had like ducked against the wall, and I slid down, and because I have no neck, like my face protection just met perfectly with my chest rig or my plate carrier, so I looked like a freaking turtle with like its head like tucked in. It was so bad. It was so bad. I'm in danger.
Oh man, that's hilarious. No, like I think helmets, yes, they definitely can serve their purpose, but a lot of times, more often than not, they do find themselves in more of an aesthetic role, more than anything. But that doesn't mean that just because they're, they look cool, doesn't mean they can't get some usefulness out of it. Again, being able to rock comms, being able to rock night vision, or even a GoPro, if that's what you wanted to do, start recording some gameplay. Being able to have a unit that can carry all that stuff for you is very nice, as opposed to, okay, let me use the GoPro head strap, right? Let me also try to carry a separate headset as well for my comms. Let me also run, like having all that stuff integrated into one unit is very handy, and it is very practical.
Yes, not saying that it can't be done, because
you've done it.
Oh no, I've definitely done it. So there are a lot of times where I'll go out and not wear a helmet. What I typically do is I'll wear a hat, and then I'll just put the hat on, and then I'll just have my range guards just on the band that came on, put it over, and I have definitely done the GoPro head strap. Now I know like there are companies like Brain Explorer that have like a hat mounted GoPro mount. And I've seen them work great. I just haven't had the urge to record my gameplay in a long time.
Yeah.
But depending on what you are trying to do, it all can be streamlined. So I do actually want to talk about how you can make the helmet a little bit more useful outside of just regular accessories. So what I actually did when I first started using helmets is I actually made my lower mesh protection clip onto the arc rails of my helmet. So toward the corner of where the arc rail bends, there is a little clip there, right? Now you can actually find companies like Lancer Tactical, Emerson, Bravo that make helmets that have that clip directly. This clip directly.
Bring it close to you guys.
It was not available when I thought of this, which is why I thought of it. So to make carrying my face protection a little bit easier, what I did was I cut the band and I sewed it into this clip here. It was a little bit wider. Normally when you get a helmet, you get different sizes. So this is supposed to be working with your goggles, which you can do as well. Me personally, I don't like doing goggles because if I do mount my goggles onto these clips, that means I'm forced to use that helmet every single time because you are making a permanent modification to that equipment. So instead of doing the goggles, I did the lower face mask because I did have a couple at the time, and I was like, okay, this one could just be dedicated for this helmet, and then I have the other one just in case if I didn't want to run the helmet. So I cut it, removed all the excess straps that come on the lower mesh mask. If you have one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I just made it so it clips directly in. So when I'm walking on the field, I could just clip it right in. Normally what I do is I just unbuckle one side and let it hang. And let me tell you something, it feels really badass, like walking off the field with your gun, you just click. Whew. It feels like, it feels like I just got out of a fighter plane.
Oh, freaking
the breather mask. It just, that's what it feels like.
Feeling like Maverick from Top Gun.
Yeah.
No, I can see that. I mean, that's a thing for sure. I mean, companies are coming out now, they're still making mesh masks, but they already have that, pre-sewn
Make
on.
it so convenient, and they're really affordable. They're like $12.
Less than $20. Yeah, they're super cheap, right? You can buy them, and they're, again, people will still, like, again, sew on their goggle straps onto the arc rail, like little clips that you get here. And that's a good system. But again, you are right. It does limit you to that system, especially if you use goggles, because if you don't have multiple sets of eye pro on that day, you're screwed. You have to go with that constantly, right?
Yep.
So I think there are a lot of things you can do to make the helmets more practical. But honestly, I'm kind of in the same boat as you, where a lot of times, especially if I'm just doing regular walk-on games, I'll just rock. I don't even rock any sort of head protection whatsoever. I'll have my eye pro,
I do that a lot
my
too.
mesh mask, right? Because it goes underneath because I have a little rectangle, little square, mesh square, little mesh guard. I have that underneath a face covering or a head wrap, and that's pretty much about it. I might rock a bandana that day or a boonie cap. Because again, it's hot. I want to keep the sun on my eyes.
Absolutely. Now, it's funny that you say that we both said that, because the helmet is supposed to make putting on the protection and stuff easier. But we
don't get shot.
No. But we also find it like, oh, man, the process of putting on my helmet is kind of tedious.
Is that even like this setup, for example, is not even tedious. It's just that it's hot for me. That's my biggest reason.
Okay, I get that.
Is that like I want to feel like nice and free. I want to feel a breeze on my head, right? And wearing a helmet, man, I get so sweaty under there.
Absolutely. Well, I would say the feeling of taking off a helmet after running around is amazing.
Nice.
It's absolutely amazing. The steam that gets built up in there. It's like a hot car. No, but yeah, you don't need a helmet though to make life easier for you. Like, you can have each of your headgear pieced individually and just make it comfortable for you. Again, I typically will just wear a hat, whatever hat. Sometimes I'll wear like one of my like casual, like, I walk around the mall hats, which I shouldn't do because I've ruined a lot of my nicer hats doing that. But I'll just wear a hat, throw my goggles on. Sometimes I don't even wear ear protection. Sometimes I just suck it up, and I already have tinnitus. So.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because I'm a musician. Like, playing in front of speakers and stuff. I always hear just a constant ringing.
Yeah,
that's what it is. I've grown used to it. It's been, I don't know, like 20 years now, 15 years or something like that. But yeah, like I sometimes don't wear ear protection. I'll just wear like my goggles, lower mesh. The one freaking time that I didn't wear my lower mesh mask, I got shot in the freaking noses at BB Wars in Texas. I was bleeding. I looked like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Airsofter. I was so mad.
I remember when like your videos came out about it. I was like, dude, that sucks.
Oh, it hurt. Luckily I didn't bust like a capillary. You know, it was like, I've seen ones where it's like spray.
Squirter, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh no. But like I did it, and I was like, it wasn't spraying. I was like, okay, it's not that bad. All right, but I was pissed. I was pissed because it was toward the end of the very last game. I was so mad, bruh. I was so heated. But I mean, that just goes to show, like when you invest in like your safety protection, right? It does go a long way when you use it, and when you don't use it, expect to get shot there. Which, you know, I took the gamble and I lost. The house always wins. The house always wins.
Truth is, rigged from the start.
Yeah, but actually, I do want to circle back around, because what Isaiah said, there's like the indoor airsofters where they don't typically run helmets.
No.
Yeah, like again, there are people that do. If you do, you're dope. But a lot of people don't even do like the 2-piece lower mesh and goggles. They'll actually run a full paintball mask, like Dye or Push.
Empire. Like, there are so many different brands that exist. Some basically high-end paintball masks. You can take a look here. Right, we sell these at airsoftgi.com. Right, they're readily available. They come in a variety of different colors and styles as well.
Yep.
This one I have here is the Dye i4.
Okay.
This one has been around for a very long time. Like a long time, right? But it's a design that's like, honestly, kind of timeless if you really think about it. Even the Dye i5 with its improved ratchet system as opposed to just a standard strap, both of them are going to be very good. Even their lenses are interchangeable, so if you wanted a different color tint, you could totally go for that as well. It doesn't really matter. But what the main draw for masks like these is that these, especially Dye specifically, there is basically no fog on this. Like, you are not like, you can. But the amount of work you would need to do in order to get something like this, in order to actually fog, the same way that a like standard pair of goggles could fog on you, especially in an indoor stuffier environment, it's just like not even comparable. This thing is so resistant to fog. I can definitely see the draw for something like this.
Oh, absolutely. Even I have a Dye mask. I can't remember if it's a Dye i4 or an i3. I got it so long ago. It might be an i3. It's a little more, but I got mine in like a dark tan brownish color, so it kind of worked. Now I completely as much as I dog on it, I completely understand the appeal of like these higher end paintball masks. The ventilation is good, like Isaiah said, like they barely fog up. Specifically for the Dye i4 mask, the lens goes pretty far back, so you keep a lot of your peripheral vision, and it gives you full protection on your face, which is why I got a dye mask back in the day when I was predominantly playing at indoor fields. Like I'd go, like I said it before, I worked down the street from Tax City in Fullerton, and I would go like every week, like once a week at least, if not like once every other week. And it was just very easy to just have my paintball mask in there, and then like I would just keep like a spring shotgun with me, and like just the shells and stuff, and I just go play, just like screw it. Like at that time, I think during the week it was like $10 for the night. It's cheap, it was easy, it was convenient for me because I was down the street, and having that instead of having a quote unquote elaborate setup for helmet, mesh, goggles is very, very, very convenient, which I understand. It's convenient and gives you full protection, right? Because it even protects your ears as well, which nowadays a lot of fields do require. Like this one does have the foam that comes all the way around the ear. I remember when when fields started enforcing like ear protection, whether it be like a hard plastic cover or like a thicker foam like that, or even electronic ear protection. Before I got that, what I did was I dismantled a like an older paintball mask that I had, and I dissected it, cut it up, and I used like plastic cuffs on it, and I strapped it to my goggles to work as ear protection.
You want to know what's funny? Fields will do the exact same thing.
Oh, really?
Hollywood Sports and SC Village, if I remember correctly. I don't know if SC Village still does it, but I know for a fact Hollywood Sports does. They do the exact same thing for their older paintball masks. They would cut off the ear section.
Oh, really?
Like the plastic foam that gets extended around the ear. They cut that off,
yeah,
but they keep the part that can like slip over the strap. And so they're like, oh yeah, for a couple bucks here, rent this out, and that way for the day so you can play.
Rent?
Yes.
Not even buy?
Yes.
This is weird.
Yeah. I was like, oh god.
Yeah.
Like really, guys, this is the little flap is gonna protect me. Oh yeah, cool, great. Sorry, I have a personal bias against fields that enforce an ear protection rule. It's like,
I mean, here's the thing. Every field that has specific rules, it's because something happened. Something happened and they want to prevent it from happening again. And
I mean, at the end of the day, you can only stop dumb people from doing dumb stuff so much, right?
Yeah, but you know, when they're on your property, they paid to use your facilities, and you have an insurance to pay.
Yeah, no, that's fair. At the end of the day, you got to follow the field rules. I'm just like, man, I hate that.
I completely understand that, because I if I don't have my hard ear protection, my peltors or anything, I hate having to like figure out what the hell am I going to do for ear protection. It blows.
I will literally carry a standalone set of range guards in my car with the band still on it. Obviously, I changed the actual like wrapping. I changed to like a camera one.
Okay.
But other than that, like I'll just keep that in my car just in case shit like that happens. Where it's like, all right, they're enforcing it. All right, time to put them on.
Yeah. No, honestly, like I do the same. I just have a loose set with me. I think I have like 3, maybe 4 pairs now, just because they're pretty affordable and they're very convenient, especially with the amount of people. Like when I go out and play, like I'll bring out and be like, where are these? It's going to enhance your experience. You're going to get the full tactical experience.
Now here comes the big question though. When should you run kind of like the multi-piece setup, right? Like the goggles, the mesh mask, helmet, if you wanted to include that. And then when should you run a full face mask? When do you think like the divide is? Like, cause no one said like that you can't rock this setup like indoors.
Oh,
right?
absolutely not.
No one said that you can't rock a dye mask outdoors either.
No,
right?
yeah.
So when do you think like, or at what point do you think that you should be going into one or the other?
Oh,
outside of looks.
Outside of looks, when to actually use it, I think that is definitely going to be personal preference. For me, I would say it's just very convenient to have a paintball mask, similar to the dye. But for the looks, you know, having a helmet and like a 2-piece setup, like a 3-piece suit.
With a 3-piece bucket.
A 3-piece chicken wing.
Oh hell yeah, dude! I'm hungry.
I think it depends on personal preference, because I personally find it very convenient to have like just a pair of goggles and mesh mask, like tucked in the corner of my gun bag or something. I could easily pick that up, throw it on, and go and still have the minimum requirement of protection of all the important stuff on the face. But having the more protection in the paintball mask, and like, do you consider having to adjust your mesh mask and your goggles each time tedious? Is that very bothersome for you? If that's too much of a hassle, I don't know. Like, if that's really a hassle, I can only imagine what it's like cleaning your Airsoft guns.
I know, right?
but
I think there's like two trains of thought here, right? You can either go with something like, because dye masks, I won't lie, they pricey.
Oh yes,
They can be pretty pricey.
that is definitely pricey.
They're called high end for a reason. We say that for a reason. When it comes to face protection, this is probably going to be one of the most expensive options that exist.
I think
out there.
the base dye i4 is like $150.
I was like 140, yeah, $150, which is pretty dang expensive.
Yeah,
right? And that's
for
an i4.
face protection.
It's for an i4. It's not even the most recent one.
Yep.
Right, which is fine. That's totally okay, because at the end of the day, it is a very high quality item that you are spending your money on. Whereas a helmet. Helmets, while they can get up in price, for the most part, you can get a solid helmet for like less than $100. I think mine was like $60. I think the airframe was like $60, $70 around there.
My Lancer Tactical helmet was, I think, like $50-ish bucks. They vary in price.
Yeah. Now, to get all the accessories, put them on here. Sometimes you can get it to fit, because bear in mind, some stuff does require limited fitment sometimes.
Yep.
It will end up equaling about the same, maybe sometimes even more than a dye mask sometimes. Depends on how many accessories you want to put on here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But I think if, like, budget was your main concern, I do think that you do have more room to play with if you decide to go for the helmet mesh goggle setup, because at base, like, say you're just starting out and you get a mesh mask and goggles, you are sitting at, I don't know, like 30-ish bucks.
Yeah.
Right. But then getting into the helmet is where the more the budget starts to creep in.
No, I think that makes sense. Honestly, it's going to be a matter of individual preference, right? And also budget-wise. If you have the means to go for it, then yeah, absolutely go for a dye. But just bear in mind, sometimes you won't be able to. I know I get this question a lot. Can you rock a dye with a helmet?
I've seen it done.
I've seen it done once, but I've tried to do it and I couldn't get it to fit properly.
Yeah, I think when I did see it, the guy that I saw do it, he was like, I had to modify a lot. Like, I had to get it. And I have seen there are companies that we even carry that have a mask that's similar to a dye attached to the helmet, and it looks like a full like Gladiator style, but like it's like Gladiator meets Resident Evil Apocalypse.
Motorcycle helmet dudes. Yeah. Oh god.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But I mean, if you try hard enough, anything is possible.
Yeah.
Does that mean it's what you should do? Don't do it.
No.
Don't do it, please.
I think ultimately, again, it's going to come down to if you have the budget for it, then yes, you can go for a dye mask. And also, if you want that look and just one piece system, you can. It is going to be a lot harder to get anything else to work with it. Though with a helmet, it definitely seems like the helmet is the more modular of the two, I guess, options.
Yes.
Because again, there are way more accessories that come out specifically designed for mounting onto the helmet, and there's so many different types and styles of helmets, and you can find one within your budget. We carry helmets that are literally less than like $30.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, are they the best quality?
No. But will they get the job done for just regular airsoft play? Absolutely.
Yeah, especially if you don't plan on doing much to it. If you just want like a beater helmet just to make yourself look a little bit more flashy on the field, by all means, that'll work. But I mean, we're talking about airsoft replica helmets. If you start getting into like real like military helmets, like they get really expensive. Like an old Mitch, like actually ballistic helmet, I think sells for like $300.
$300 minimum starting, and that's like in like rough shape.
That's like $3.8. Yeah.
So it's like I know, because I was like looking up for one as well, and I was like, oh, I wonder how much a real one would be. This is old, and they're not going to be used. Oh my god, it's so expensive.
Why?
That's why I had to give it this paint job to make it look like as realistic as I could. Right?
Okay.
Actually, this does a really good job, especially when I have the distress marker on here that I normally put on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a real one. People will go up to me and it's like, oh, it's a real helmet? I'm like, it looks good, don't it?
No, it ain't.
No, I'm broke.
It's all of us. No, I absolutely get that. But I think, I don't want to round it out because there's still plenty of tactical gear. Okay, this is what I'll do. Outside of the helmets, outside of the battle belt, what other pieces of kit do you think that we could quickly run over that are really important for an airsofter to have?
We kind of talked about with the dye mask, but just iPro.
iPro for sure.
Goggles of some kind. That's going to be like something that I think is very, very crucial. Obviously, it's going to be mandatory.
Yep.
At fields, no matter what field you play, it's going to be ANSI rated. Full seal eye protection is going to be the minimum requirements that most fields will typically ask for before you even like get onto the field, right? They won't even let you into the past the staging area if you don't have them on.
Yep.
Right. So, and there's many different styles, many different, I guess, cuts and flavors, if you will.
Yeah. And they actually come really affordable nowadays. There are airsoft companies that make really good eye protection, like Lancer Tactical. Even though they get shit on, they do have a proper ANSI rating. We did our stress test video with them with like high FPS, high joule, heavyweight BBs, and it survived. Took all those BBs like a champ, no problem. But you can get really good iPro relatively affordable, starting off like $15.
Yeah. One option would be like I don't know. I think Falcon has them right now. It's the ASG ones.
Oh yeah.
The super. Actually, I'm gonna bring mine.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, the ASG, they're goggles that I have run as well. I think Falcon calls them the Echo goggles. They're shaped like glasses. They have a band that connects them toward the back. So it is a band that holds it together, and then they are full seal around the eyes, and those fit like sunglasses. Boys. Yeah, those ones right there. So ASG and Falcon has them. Honestly, they're the same OEM. I don't know who the OEM is, but
I don't know either.
But they're full seal. Again, they have arm bands like glasses, but they have the rubber strap at the back. That is the band that allows it to stay on your face, mounted on your face without you having to worry about it slipping off or anything like that. So they're very convenient. Those ones are about 15 to 20-ish bucks as well.
Super affordable. Honestly, I absolutely love using goggles like these lower profile sound for a very big reason. The other style would be like the bigger, more traditional, like boxier goggles, which are, don't get me wrong, those are fine. They will absolutely do the job that they're required to. But it becomes a little more cumbersome, especially once you start pairing them off with like a mesh mask, depending on what mask you get. Yep. It can be a little difficult to actually properly ADS or like aim down your sights, right? So having a lower profile setup like this makes it a lot easier to actually properly use your optics.
Yep. No, absolutely agree to that. So optics eye protection is definitely one thing. I think optics and lower face protection should be mandatory, right? Depending on your field, lower face protection might not be mandatory, but I think something that is important that isn't mandatory is going to be some type of gloves.
Yes.
Some type of gloves. Let me tell you something. Like 8 out of the 10 shots that hit your person are going to be right here, right on the front of your goddamn hand. You want to know why? Because you're pointing at the gun and you're aiming the gun. They're shooting at you, shooting them. It's going to hit your knuckle, and knuckle shots hurt like a mother. I actually have quite a few different gloves. There are some gloves that are very minimalist, that are very thin, that only help me increase my dexterity of manipulating magazines, especially like on pouches like these. Again, the HSGI tacos. These have like a Kydex or like a plastic walls that have corners, and when you knuckle that barehanded, it hurts like a mother.
Jeez.
I've torn my cuticles open. It hurts so good. So good.
It seems like a masochist.
No, it's extremely painful. And I have gloves like that. But what I highly recommend is a glove that has like some type of padding, again, to help add dexterity, but knuckle protection. There are plenty of different ones. There are some that have hard knuckles. You'll see like those older tactical style, like Oakley gloves that have like a hard knuckle. But then you'll see gloves from Mechanics, like the Impact gloves, that have a rubber sleeve over it. And those don't really, like the Oakley style that have hard knuckles, those are meant for like fisting.
Yeah, fisticuffs.
Yeah, but the rubber ones, obviously you don't need to do that in airsoft. The rubber ones are definitely a lot of protection for you. When I wear those, it really does mitigate the amount of knuckle shots that I have. Actually, no knuckle shots. If I get shot in the hand, it's going to be in the parts that don't have the padding.
Of course, right?
Because the BB always finds that goddamn space.
Follow the rules of physics, right, and hit this exact spot where I'm supposed to, or I could just curve around last second.
Let me tell you something. When a BB is shot at you, it's like Captain America's shield. It doesn't make sense. It just finds you. It finds you. But gloves are definitely something that are very important, and they can range. You can easily spend $50 on a pair of gloves, but you can find some really affordable gloves starting off at, again, the $15, $20-ish range. You do pay for what you get.
Yeah.
You do absolutely pay for what you get. I would recommend spending anywhere from like 20 to 25 to like the 35 dollar range. What did you say?
Upwards of 20, honestly, at that point. Like, here's the thing, right? Gloves, no matter what style, obviously there are some benefits to going with some thicker style gloves or some thinner ones. There's one of the features that I always like is whenever you can actually use your touchscreens on your like smart devices with the gloves on. That's cool.
Absolutely.
Normally what I have to do for a lot of my gloves is I'll literally just cut off a bit of the index and the thumb, just so I get a little bit more dexterity and I can handle smaller stuff like BBs with magazines, right?
Oh, I guess it's dexterity. You just want to have a little bit more feel. Like you're able to gauge like the feeling of something a little bit better with bare skin.
Yeah, exactly. But even then, like, all of my other fingers are completely covered, right? Just having something there is like almost like a helmet, right? Yeah. Having something there is better than not having anything at all.
Valid.
Right? Because at the end of the day, like, yeah, it may not be the thickest thing in the world, but direct skin contact with a BB, that shit sucks.
Especially on the finger.
Yes, pinky finger. My pinkies are so sad every time
I have scars on my knuckles, like just random BB shots. Oh my goodness, they hurt so much. Just put rest in peace thumbs, or rest in peace knuckles in the chat for me or in the comments because it's super bad. Okay,
like a hardcore rapper, Rip Knuckles.
So, that sounds like a Sonic meme.
Oh,
the Uganda Knuckles.
You got Knuckles, Rip Knuckles. Do you know the way?
Last piece of kit that I think
is the shoes.
Shoes are important, but I was gonna say knee pads.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Knee pads.
Okay, here's why. I know you're gonna think like knee pads. What kind of wimps you are? Okay, hear me out. Have you guys ever taken a knee?
Whip?
A freaking BB right there.
Whip. Let me tell you something, my friend. Let me tell you something. The taking a knee on BBs, and especially if you play outdoors, taking a knee on a rock with a nice corner, or in a bush with a thorn, or like just running by and hitting the random wall of concrete that's randomly placed there, you know.
Taking a knee on a snake, man, and then it turns around. You take a knee on a snake and you're like, oh, sorry, ma'am.
Hurts so damn much. This, I think honestly, I would probably prioritize knee pads over gloves.
Really?
I might, just because of the amount of times that I take a knee. It makes like your play style, it makes you a little bit more effective when you're able to take a knee quickly. Like you can change elevation super quick. So like you can easily like be in like a quote unquote fighting stance, right?
Yeah.
And then just squat really quick, right? But if you're like running in and like going into a knee, like that right there in this bare concrete hurt.
Yeah.
That hurt right now. Having a knee pad definitely eases the pain and makes you like more confident in actually doing that action.
No, we have at GA, we sell individual knee pads which you can buy as a set, right? Or you can buy them already coming included with your pants, with a lot of combat style pants.
Oh, yes.
Very much similar to the like Cry style pants. That is actually a very, very cool feature. If you can get pants that already have a built-in knee pad, even if it's small, that really helps out a lot. That's like my minimum whenever it comes to like my pants nowadays. I will buy separate individual knee pads if I have to. Like I'll buy a set like from Condor, for example. I'll buy one and I have one that I'll use from time to time if they don't have it. But if I can, I will typically try to get like the combat style where it'll come included with the built-in knee pad, just because it does help out a lot.
I think I have one pair of pants that has knee pads for them, and they don't fit me.
Oh.
Yeah. It was a Lancer Tactical 3XL multicam black set. And I use the top to this day. The top fits me fine. The pants, they're Asian sizing.
Have you tried them on recently though?
No, I haven't actually. Maybe I should.
Because you went down in size, you might be able to fit into them now.
I don't think I've lost a lot in my waist. I've lost it more in my shoulders.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, it is a goal to get down there. I should try them out. But that does make it convenient. But they are a little bit pricey depending on the brand that you get.
That's true.
Like a pair of like basic Condor knee pads or Emerson knee pads can go like $20.
Condors, yeah, 25.
Oh yeah, and they come with elbow pads, don't they?
I think that's the other set. Those are a little bit pricier, but even Lancer makes a set that comes included with all four.
Oh yeah, see, so honestly, elbow pads, I used to wear them. I don't think they're that necessary nowadays.
But you can if you want to.
Oh,
If you see yourself dolphin diving constantly, right? Or if you're gonna be doing the, this sort of thing,
that makes more sense. I used to think, why? Because I wore them and I was like, I haven't bumped my elbow into anything. What do I need these for?
Can you imagine? Same thing like you said, strap with your knee, right?
Yeah.
On BBs or a corner of a rock.
That makes a lot more
or
sense.
a snake, right?
I never thought about that. That makes a lot more sense. Okay, that's valid. Yeah, you can get them really affordable. And then there are different styles too. There are like the hatch style that force a bend in the leg. There are the flat ones. Actually, for the flat ones, what I typically do is I don't put them directly on the knee. I'll actually put them so they're placed like right here.
Mm-hmm.
So it covers the kneecap and then goes down to the shin. And then I use that as like what I kneel on. When I have a flat knee pad directly on top of the knee, when I bend, it shifts. And I don't like that. So I run it lower so I know exactly where it's going to be. It's not going to shift there. And then I could take the knee. I'm not able to do like the tactical slide like a lot of people do, but it works out for me. I don't have any issues with
sliding is fun. It is fun.
I don't think I ever have.
We got to get you to try it at least once. We got to go.
No.
Yes.
I'm gonna look like Sonic when he's in the balled up form.
Oh my god, Sonic Pinball.
It's so bad.
But yeah, guys, all these tactical gear options are available at Airsoft GI. You can pick up all these right now online. And remember, all it takes is a $20 order to be entered into the next shopping spree giveaway.
Absolutely.
Going on this coming Thursday. Yeah, we do it every Thursday. I forgot what day do we normally do it on?
Yep.
We do it every Thursday. And remember, literally $20 or more, and you're automatically entered. That can include helmets, helmet covers, dummy night vision goggles, battle belts, literally anything $20 or more, and you have a shot at winning.
Yeah, and also make sure you find a coupon code that'll work for you. Right now we have coupon code 20th that'll save you 10% off of everything available at airsoftgi.com, except for the mystery boxes and the shocker deals. Those are the best discounts that we could possibly offer on those products. But yeah, you can get extra savings. And again, what Isaiah said, you can enter the shopping spree giveaway at the same time. We're just trying to give you the best savings and hook you up with prizes.
If you guys want to see a part 3 potential, I think we covered most of it.
I think we got everything. If there is something specific, really specific that you want us to talk about, let us know in the comments below, not in the chat while this is premiering. So just let us know, and we'll gladly talk about it. But other than that, my name is Cisco.
My name is Isaiah.
And we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Peace, y'all.
Later.